Good morning, my little potato peelers. How are you? It's wee Paddy here from across the shock. And as you can see by the title and this beautiful knife in front of you, this is one of my new passions, which is collecting knives that are antique, but maybe just a wee bit older. This one's, I reckon it's from around the 70s. I'm not 100% sure. So if anybody who knows more, please let me know down below if you can date it better than that. I think it's 70s, 80s, but it could be younger or older. Sometimes it's really difficult to tell. I got this from Etsy, which is where I'm buying quite a lot of my knives of this vintage. And I'm trying to buy them as cheaply as I can, but I'm also trying to get the best quality that I can. And some of these I'm paying more than what you'd pay for a knife that you can buy now. But I believe the quality in this is a bit better. This cost me in the 30 odd pound. I can't remember how much it was. I've had it for quite a while. It's been on my Instagram pictures if you've been on my Instagram. If not, get over there, same name. But it's an Arthur Wright. It's a bareheaded jackknife with a lambsfoot blade. That's an awful lot of words, and it's the best way I can describe it because it didn't come with that description, but it's all I can describe it as. Now, to all intents and purposes, when you look at that, it looks like it's a bone handle jigged. It's got a shield, and as you'll see, it's a very, very highly polished blade. So it's what I would call a higher end Arthur Wright knife because his basic ones just have a satin finish and not the higher gloss. But again, in this day and age, I don't know what this would have cost and what it standard for. But it's not. It's actually composite. But oh my goodness, I wish they could jig bone like that. I'm sure they can, but can you see that? It is just a beautiful composite bone. Really nicely. The fit and finish is good. There's a wee bit of damage at the bottom of that bolster, but it fits snugly up to the knife. The shield is lovely. A little bit off center, but look at the pins. That's a well battered pin. And I mean, this is what ages the knife when you see things like that. It just ages the knife. But as you can see, there's a shiny blade there. The back of it, is it perfect? There's no real gapping. This is not flush. And what you can hear is, can you hear that? This is just where the blade, but the snap in this knife, the walk and talk, there's no half stop in it, but they will. It's a cam tang, so it's quite smooth with a great snap, and it opens with an authoritative clunk, and it's pointed in the downward direction, which a lot of the older and maybe the modern ones, I'm not sure, but they call them real lamb's foot. I see. Thankfully, it's not all the way up the blade, but you can see that's a really highly polished stainless steel blade. Well, I don't even know if it's stainless steel because it's pitting on this side of it, but I'm not sure whether that's just age or whatever. Again, some of these things are harder to find out, and somebody can maybe tell me. It probably is a carbon steel, but highly polished. But again, I'm looking for information because knowledge is. I don't have the knowledge, so when you start in a hobby like this, getting the knowledge from other people is obviously the best way, and it starts a thirst for the knowledge. This is a beautiful knife. There is no movement. Look at that. No movement in this blade. And saying this is what, 50-year old. Will our modern ones be the same? I really hope so for the expensive ones I buy because this is just beautiful. It's got stainless steel liners and back spring, nickel silver bolsters. You can see that pin starting to come through. That's just with the age and rubbing. The pin is starting to come through. But they look like they're either nickel or stainless steel pins that are going through the knife there. It is stunning. I just love it for 30 odd pound. And this is what I would call a user. This is a knife that would do me for my day's work. The blade's long enough. Let me just get you a little measurement of the blade and let you see what it's like sideways. So there we go. The blade itself is just over 2.5, 2 5/8 long. The handle, the full length of it, sorry. Let me just move this down a wee bit here. That was a bit cumbersome. It's about 6 inches long with a blade of about one, two, 3.5, 3.5, 2.5 blade. I mean, it's just a perfect EDC knife. It's enough for me to do the work that I do on a daily basis. And it's nice to carry an older knife. Now, would I be worrying about scratching it? Not in the slightest. I put a wee edge on it. It's sharp enough. I haven't gone too hard because I don't want to sharpen this thing to a point. I want to use it and keep it just for cutting bits of string, for cutting a bit of cardboard every now and then. And it will do all those tasks with aplomb. I love this shield. I wish GEC would use a shield this big and broad. It is beautiful. Absolutely stunning. Arthur Wright's been making knives for years. It's a Sheffield knife maker, um, and it's still making knives today. The company is still making knives today that their quality went a bit downhill, I believe, at the turn of the century, but this is an excellent knife. This is a perfect working knife. 50-year-old or not, it is perfect. It's just solid. So I was over the moon to get it for 30 odd pound. This a knife that I will carry on a regular basis. And I'll say this will do me as a full EDC. What am I carrying today with it? Well, let's be honest, that's what I'm carrying today with it, which is, a high-end knife. Will I use this to do much cutting today? Probably not. I'll use this for everything. I sit and foot with this at night time. But this is a knife I'll bring out whenever I want to use, and especially over in the UK where you have the length, our length control. We can only have a 3-inch cutting edge, so this is well within it, and I can bring it out and use it, and that's not going to scare anybody. So let's give you a couple of size comparisons and then we'll run over. Here's another Sheffield knife, and this is a modern version. This is a Michael May. Very much again the bare-headed. This is different blade shape, but the size. Sheffield knife makers, when they make the Barlows or these bare-headed jackknives, they're quite broad and lump. There's a good lump of handle. That's probably the worst description, but as you can see, there's a good lump of a handle. The Michael May's even thicker, but that's a custom-made knife. But you can see what I'm talking about. They are just knives that are made for work and use. Here's a case Barlow. So it's a little bit smaller. It's a little bit smaller, but not that much. Here is a Boker, my new Boker knife, another Boker Barlow. Again, a little bit smaller. You see that they're narrower in the handles than this. So this gives this an edge as if you want to cut something that's a bit sturdier than these two. But again, these two are EDC quality knives and big enough to do all my work that I would ever need to do. And for those of you who are interested, there's a GEC boy's knife, which is about exactly the same size, the same depth, but you have this broader handle. And I really do appreciate this broader bit here. It gives the knife such a lovely feeling in your hand. Beautiful feeling in the hand to work with. And again, it's that length where you can get right up close. And that lamb's foot is just a lovely shape. So there you go. There's the size comparison. There's the joy. I mean, look, one day on my channel, I'm doing a £600 custom knife. The next day, I'm doing a £33 second-hand knife that I get on eBay. Is there any difference in the joy? Absolutely not. I wish there was, but there isn't. This excites me every bit as much as that did. I believe this was a great little buy. I have another couple. I have another beautiful Barlow from Wolstenholme, another UK maker. I have my wee flag, flying the flag for the UK makers. I'm trying to collect, I have lots of GEC, I have lots of American knives, Chinese knives, but I have very little UK knives, and I'm trying to rectify that with my older knife collection, my antique knife, because they made their knives better then. And I think you'll agree. Yeah, you wouldn't be ashamed to pull that out anywhere, no matter what the occasion was. Can I clean that up a bit? I probably could if I wanted to, but I don't. I'm quite happy it's a user. It's a user knife. It's not a collectible to stick in the corner. I've some there that are from the 1800s. They're collectible. I don't want to really use them. But this is an absolute user. And so's the Barlow I'll show you probably later on this week or next week. But I hope you enjoyed that. A little Arthur Wright knife. I just love it. What do you think? Would you go on Etsy and buy second-hand knives rather than spend £30 on a CRKT? To me, there's no comparison. This is just a great buy, and you've got a wee bit of history that you can follow of a knife company, and you can go and I'm not a great book reader, but if you're a book reader, you can go and find out lots of history. I enjoy just a knife, I enjoy the fact that it's made in the UK, and the sadness it brings that we don't do it that much anymore. I just wish we could get on that bandwagon again. So there you go. I have a lovely cup of tea here. I'm trying to get a couple, oh, there's my wee cup of tea. I'm trying to get a couple of videos done today to get ahead, which I never do, but here's the first one, and thank you so much for watching me and listening to my owl waffle. Take care. Paddy's gone.